Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Loudly Woman. With me today, I have the beautiful wedding planner extraordinaire, YouTuber extraordinaire, Asi Darling. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Asitonka Agri Aba. I'm also known as Asi Darling because I'm such a darling.
And we also have with us here today I need to do this introduction proper. Engineer extraordinaire, Ihuoma Chinda Green. Come on.
Hi guys, hello everyone. Happy to be here.
And we also have the beautiful Miss Adeze Space, YouTuber extraordinaire, part of the YouTube Creators Class of 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here as well.
Okay, ladies, today's conversation is important too because this could be our fate. It's not going to be our fate.
Amen.
But this could be our fate, right? So today I want us to discuss women and why women don't move on after a divorce or the loss of their partner, okay? You know how in Nigeria, it's so common. You see a woman that got divorced 30 years ago. They never even had boyfriend for one day, not to talk of getting married again. Or a woman that lost their partner 57 years ago. They never, in fact, it's almost like they feel like it's a taboo to even move on. Like moving on will make them a bad person. So why do you think it's like that? Actually, I think I'll start from you. The way I look at me, it's like you want to give us fire. Like, but seriously, why do you think women don't move on? Because women, you can move on. Like, it's okay. Why do you think we're so scared of moving on?
I feel like because the society puts a lot of pressure on women. Like when it starts from even pregnancy, even if it's out of wedlock, they name and shame the woman. The church, no, she's not wearing white. She's not covering her head, it's the woman. So even if two people go wrong, husband and wife, and then when she leaves, they feel like if you move on too fast, your eye was outside right from time.
Yeah.
Do you get? And then there's also the traditional, or let's say cultural part of, if you want to move on, who is giving you out? Because growing up, there was a particular lady in my former church when I was growing up, and after the death of her husband, it was the husband's people that actually told her to move on. It was that bad because she didn't want to move on. So the husband's people were the ones, in fact, the husband's father was the one that walked her down the aisle because basically they've paid your bride price and you're now their
nice
child.
Family.
Do you understand? So that's a really nice is also family. A cultural reason why people, because who is taking you?
Yeah.
Your father can't take you because he has already given, taking bride price from a family.
But
so if that family is antagonizing
is
you, yeah, but you're still part of the family. But if they are now the ones antagonizing you, it now becomes difficult for you to move on. Do you understand? Because if you want to go back to your father, do you want to return bride price and move on? You know that kind of thing. So most times it seems like it's hard because women have to make peace with their husband's family before they feel like they can move on. You know, you almost feel like you need their blessing and no more that.
Okay, what's of this case of divorce? I think I'm going to ask you that. Case of divorce, right? Because as is talking about death, even though I don't know the rules and culture when it comes to death in different, should I say cultures or part of Nigeria, but what of the case when it comes to divorce, where you are alive, I'm alive, you wronged me, assuming the man was at fault, because men, they're always at fault. So assuming the man was at fault, you did something, and I walk out on a marriage, why do we still find it hard to move on?
Okay, I think there are different angles to it. First of all, women are more emotional. Not all women, but on a large scale, women are more emotional. So for women, it's more like they feel like they are still attached to that man. Most of them are still in love with that man self. So is it they're in love with the man or they still feel some kind of attachment to him? Maybe they have kids together. They don't want to move on and it will be like they've left this man. Maybe they're just hoping that there will be a reconciliation sometime in the future. Okay, so that's one part. Then the second part is society, judgment. It will be like this man, okay, the man divorced you. Instead of you to put your eye down and keep yourself together, your eye is outside. Your eye is outside. What is she looking for outside again? You know, is it men that is so important to you that you have to go and get married? People don't even think about the companionship part of it. Though. They just see it as you are wayward. That is why you are moving on. So some women just refuse to. I'm sure they are doing underground runs, so let's not even. Yes, but they don't want to do it. Oh, they're not bold enough. A man will go and get married 2 weeks later.
A man will come with his girlfriend to the wife's burial, and people will applaud him. Yes, if a woman does that, they can kill that day. In fact, your village people can stone you. They don't even have, but they applaud men for doing these things. So if a man can do it, why can't I do it? Why can't a woman do it? Like, why are women so mistreated by the society? That thing keeps me awake at night sometimes. What do you think?
So because of the power that has been given to men to assume that they have to marry, the women assume that the men have to come to them. And the fact that in the society we find ourselves, being a divorcee comes with a tag. Most men are not open to marry divorcees as well. So there's not that much option to women that are actually divorced. This is one aspect, right? Okay. So if I'm a divorcee, for example, I may be open to a new relationship. But most times the men may not even be tolerant of having another man in my life. Say I share children with that man. So sometimes it still goes back to the ego of the men not being able to handle a divorced woman. So that's another aspect.
But I feel like this aspect is like for a woman that has decided to move on. It's like, but why do most of us find it hard to even move on?
That's what I'm saying.
Some
So
brave
most
ones
women
even
want to actually move on,
Move
but
on.
where is the person to move on with?
no, but there are options there. There are
That's
a lot
what
of
you
people.
think. That's what I'm telling you. That there
No,
are
it's I
cases
mean
where
it can't be that bad. There are so many
if
people.
we're using our generation now, it's easy for you to make these
Yeah.
inferences, right? But if you talk about people like your mothers in their age, being divorced was a problem. It means you had a problem. My generation now, I don't see it as a problem. I don't think women would have issues.
We are happy to be divorced now. It's almost
agree
like
that, yeah.
a lot of women, a lot of women want their husbands to mess up so they will actually leave them and have a
Exactly.
good reason to leave.
I think
We're
that's
not-
that's the point
is
I
that
was
what you
coming
wanted
to
to say?
because
Yes.
I feel like, you know, even if you look at some single girls, most people feel like, let me get to an age, I just want to have children.
Yes.
It just seems like men are now in quote. I personally,
Yes.
I have a different opinion. They make it like men are disposable. Let me
But
just go there
men
and have my
are
children.
disposable,
Let him
though.
just quarrel with me. Let me go with my
Yes.
children. It just seems like you used him because
No,
from
but you know the
let's be
funny
serious
thing,
now. You are
men,
the one that
they've
used
always seen women as disposable.
Disposable.
Now we're equally seeing them as
The
what
both
they
of
are.
them are
Because we are humans, right?
Yeah.
We are both disposable. The truth is that I don't believe in one true love, like you're my one and only for to death, like till I die. People's partners die or get divorced and they find another love.
person.
So people keep forgetting that that marriage that we admire now, that they've been married for 80 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever years, it's a lot of work. It's not because that person is their true love or the love of their life or anything. Is yes.
They should have left 2 years later.
Thank
They
you.
just dragged it to the end.
Exactly.
They should
So
have
they
left.
put a lot of work, but it's always been women doing that work in the past, just trying their best to keep things together so that this marriage doesn't end. Now women don't care. Like women don't care, which I love so much for women.
But they might not move on.
But that's still exactly that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
They are willing, but I know a lot of people that will leave and move on, right? But what I want to get deep into is why was it so difficult? Because the few examples I know in my life, nothing was holding them. Not even society, not pressure, not the man's family, not children. When I mean nothing, absolutely no. Kids were involved, but you know the funny thing. Yes, you know the funny thing. Kids grow. Kids like if we're people's kids now, we're all married. Thank you. Some kids will be begging them.
I feel like when it
"Move
gets
on,
to
move
that
on."
point,
so why
maybe by
did
that time they
not
feel
move
like
on?
I've stayed so long, because I have several cases that
Yeah.
in fact they all have different outcomes. So on one hand, I have daughters. I don't want to bring a strange man because I cannot trust a man with my daughters. I have to groom these daughters till probably they get to boarding school. When they're in boarding school, my eyes are on them. Before you know they're in university, oh, boys are chasing them. Before you know, she's even losing track of her own life. The girl is turning and saying, I have one other part. I think no problem. The man just decided to be absent. And then the kids are like, Mommy, you need to find another person. Divorce this our father. They literally are the ones telling her. And she's like, why we lie now? You know, he's still there for me. And you can't lie to children.
Women,
it's the emotional part.
right? Because women do.
It's not love, it's just
not love.
that
They
thing. Like you
stayed
said,
in a lot
the
of-
divorcee tag.
Yeah. And then what if they're just not in the mood to take
Even when you see some divorcees, they still wear their rings. They still wear their rings.
Right.
Even
Yeah,
when you see
that's
some
another thing.
divorcees,
They still wear their
they
ring
still wear their
30
ring.
years later.
It's still
Yes,
society
we will.
Because
there's
it's
a respect.
easier to
There's
just
a
go
respect
around
and
with a married
attachment
woman.
that comes
Yeah.
with being married in Nigeria.
So
For
there's
example,
no point. They don't
if
take
I was
it out.
wearing my ring, somebody will address me as madam. If I came down from a car with shorts with my ring, they'll still address me as madam. If I came down with the shorts from a jeep, they'll say this one a runs girl. And they
Yeah.
put a
It's
tag
just
to
the
it.
ring.
So most times people that still wear their rings, I think it's because of the respect that they get in society. And because they probably don't want to keep explaining themselves and why they're no longer married.
Well, if it's that, right?
Right?
If you're no longer married, you should want to marry to
Yes,
continue getting that
This
respect.
is you
So it's
assuming,
so
this is you assuming
conflicting.
I had a good outcome of my first marriage.
But I have
You're
the
trying
one
to
that has married.
If I had a terrible
In fact-
I'm going back into it again.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
because I feel
another
like
one.
with our generation now, I feel like once women leave a marriage, they don't care anymore. They just enter the streets and just continue with life because you've seen it, you've been there, done that. Why do you want to go and have that over again? And it probably won't work out. Then it happens again, and it probably
They
won't
don't
work
go
out.
back into a home.
Yes,
They leave and then they are
live
available.
by their own rules.
And then it now
They're on the
becomes
street.
they now
Once they
become
enter
role
the street-
models to other ladies that are like,
Young-
please quarrel with me.
Yes.
Yeah, you not seen that lady.
Yes.
She's
Exactly.
Can't you
thriving.
see the way
She's giving us
Toke is thriving. Do you understand? Why
people
would
are
you want
name
to be like
calling.
Toke?
People are divorcing right now because please, this children life is not for me. I want to be
Yeah.
a baby girl like XYZ. I want to go to Dubai like XYZ. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then it's something that after a while, it might not be as fulfilling as you.
But
as
the
you
funny
think
thing
it-
is that
But
nothing in life is ever as fulfilling as even the kind marriage. It gets to a point where it becomes very difficult.
you just
regret
drag it.
your
Like you
options.
said now.
But it's work.
Okay, she said it. She said
It's
you just
work.
drag it. Just drag it across
No,
the
but
line.
you work. If you don't
keep
work on
dragging
it though, you see yourself. It's like you're there, but you're not in a marriage anymore. It's worse. And for me, it's still not a good.
It's worse though.
It's still not a good place to raise kids when you're
Yes.
both detached
Children
from the
see it.
commitment.
You can't lie to
It's
them.
like
Children see it. They see that you're sad. They see
Yeah.
that you can't move on.
Which is another question though. Like, okay, it's still all under the same topic. You're there in a marriage where you're so unhappy. Your husband is cheating. We say husband is cheating because they are always cheating. Don't come for me, please. But okay, with statistics, it's usually the men. They're always cheating. They're always messing up. They are always the one absent. They are always the one. Anything people do, now the man is always them doing it, right? You see a woman dying, crying herself to sleep every day, angry, hot, emotionally abused. Like her life, she doesn't have deeply. Thank you. Her life is not her life anymore, but she's still dying, doing everything about her to remain in that unhappiness. That's so sad. Okay, the point now is, if you knew someone in that situation, what would you tell the person? What would you tell the person? What would you tell the
Nothing.
person?
It depends.
I'm
I'm
serious because
if I know that my friend is in an unhappy marriage and I know that from the beginning of her going into that marriage, there's no focus. There's nothing you want to tell that
There's
kind of
nothing.
person.
Like,
She
you
wanted
understand?
to
True.
get married because she wanted to get married.
True.
Not because
Okay, but what
maybe it was
if
the right
say
time.
me now that you know me, you knew I was once happy and in love and all the things that's come to all of a sudden that kind of thing happens. What would you tell the person? Because that's some people's situation, that's some people's realities.
I think you get the
won't-
closeness
won't
now.
know
What would you think?
to tell you, because I wouldn't tell anybody honestly.
Like,
I won't tell anybody to leave
it's
their
a
marriage,
tricky
right?
one.
But whatever decision I see that you're tending towards, my place would be to support that decision, and I'll probably be leaning towards supporting you leaving. But would I come out openly to say you have to leave this man? No. But would I point out the things that you shouldn't take from him? Yes. And if you tell me,
I feel like if he's getting to depression,
I'm
suicidal
the kind of
thoughts,
person
and
that
the I'm the kind of friend
I
that
will pack my
I will-
daughter's bag.
I will
dress.
tell you.
I know, I'm just saying me as a person, even not as a friend. I'm saying my daughter, I'll pack my daughter because thinking of my daughter, right?
can you pack my bag?
I will come, I'll tell you to pack your
Wonderful
bags.
God.
If you
Are you
refuse
saying-
to pack it, right? I will. I don't know if I'm the kind of person that'll say I'll never talk to, but I most likely will just start removing myself from the situation and just remove
No, but
myself
it is
from you.
getting to
But I will
depression,
give
it's
you that
serious, oh.
advice. Yes, it's serious.
It's serious.
And
Depression
if I
and
don't
suicide,
tell you, it
it's
means I
serious.
don't like you.
No, I can tell my friend the truth, but again, it depends on
The
if you
level
ask
of
me.
closeness. If you
And
ask
it
me,
I
depends
didn't say you're not
No,
gonna talk.
it depends on if you
People
ask
should not
me.
fall for this.
Yeah.
Like,
No, the truth is,
because
if
when we
you
settle and say, Asi is the one that now came one day to tell me that this marriage is unhappy.
no, I don't really care about that.
Yeah,
actually,
I don't care.
My own
Yeah.
is that if you come, it depends on the situation anyway. If you come and meet me and tell me, see what's going on in my marriage, my husband beats me every morning, in the night he stones me, this one got me, whatever, I will advise you. But if I advise you and you don't take it, that's it. Like, I won't start advising you except in cases where I see your life is in danger and I have to tell you. But if your life is not in danger and it's just emotional and he's cheating and all of that, and you want to stay there, after I advise you once, in fact, maybe 1.5, and you're still there, that's it. I'll just be looking at you, waiting for the day your brain is going to reset on its own. Because like what I keep saying, a lot of women have this comfort in being married. Whether the man is community, whatever, they don't care. They have that comfort. Property. Yes, community property, like everywhere. On social media, they know him. On the streets, they know him. With ugly women, fine women, big, small, they know him. Some women have the comfort that at least I'm married.
At least he chose me.
Yes, at least he comes back to me every
Whenever I
night.
hear a woman
Yeah.
say that, something dies inside me. Like,
Right?
wow.
So at the end of the day, you see that the woman has comfort in that. And she's going to live the rest of her life. I won't say happy, she might not be happy, but that comfort keeps her. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
That comfort, that knowing that, okay, at least he came back to me, what makes her happy in that sense is going to keep her there. She will stay there and live her life, and she will live and nothing will happen. Okay, so but if I see that you really want to live and I'm trying to advise you and you're taking that advice, but that I just randomly come and meet you and tell you your husband is a bad person, this one leave, I'm not going to do that.
I think personally, like as
But
it pertains to the topic, if you're going to leave, I feel it's the way you stay in the marriage that will make somebody know if you're going to move on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? How were you in the marriage? Do you get? Even people that were very much in love, they got to a point where if you need to move on or if you need crave that companionship, at least be open enough to say, I've gotten to that point, I need this. And like I said, it will help you mentally to say, like, take it to your in-laws, you know. Sometimes it's that bitterness in the sense that if the in-laws have not moved on, you might have a lot of fights.
You mean in debt?
Yes, okay. In terms of debt. And then if it's terms of divorce now, they want their son, even if it's the offender, to marry first. Because it almost seems like if you marry first,
in divorce, they no longer.
No, in divorce,
you're not
like the divorce. How will I say?
in divorce, you don't belong to them anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was for this thing. The divorce case, I know, we were almost finishing the preparation for the marriage before the divorce paper even cleared, because it was that I want to divorce. Like, do you understand? I want to. The lady was ready to divorce, and the guy was just dragging his leg. And then she had already put her marriage thing on course. Do you get? And it gets so bad, like he's seeing IVs. This woman is serious. Family members who talk and all of that. In her case, she was like, because there was domestic violence and all of that. Sometimes people can move on faster when there was a nasty, like a
But
something.
you know the funny thing, in a lot of Nigerian cases, right? Coming back to what we're saying, there was something like that. Either domestic violence or infidelity or emotional abuse or whatever, physical abuse, the same thing, domestic violence. There was just something that made them leave. Sometimes, in fact, even with all these factors, they don't go. The man will literally, I know because the man will literally fling them out, and they will still throw their bags out, throw everything out, and they will still want to go back to that.
Is that comfort? Is that comfort of marriage?
Is it just comfort or more like society? I feel like
that's what I'm saying. I don't mean comfort. I don't mean comfort in terms of I'm comfortable
really
here.
Comfort they get
mindset,
knowing
that I'm married. At
married.
least I'm married. Are you married?
If you see most people that stay in those kind of marriages or relationships or whatever they call it, most times it's because the woman too doesn't even know where she wants to start from.
Yeah.
So because most times you see most women that we see
that's another factor
out,
we've
right,
not talked about though.
People that are financially stable, and I know that I can move on, I can share custody with this nigga, with this person. I can take care of myself, I can take care of the children, even if he's not interested. It's easier for people like that to actually make that decision and
to move on.
But when I know that this person is even his card I used to go and buy.
True. Like all the luxury I used to in your life was provided by him or that person.
But okay, this move on, is it move on like in terms of move on to a new relationship or move on in
new
life?
Relationship in life.
Just
a lot of them. I know examples of people that never moved on, right? Years later, they never moved on. They're praying to God every day that, God will thank you. They're praying to God every day that God will, help their relationship. They're praying to God every day that God will change the man, change his mind. I'm like, do you even think about the fact that maybe God did you a favor by removing you from that situation? It's an insult to God not to move on.
Actually, do you know in such cases, I think some of those women actually have a point to prove to the society. That we, after everything, after all of you laughed at me, I had the laugh. Yes, I had the laugh.
So that's like 10 years later, they're still waiting.
Yes, no one cares. But they don't know it. They think we all care. They think we all want to see her suffer or unhappy. So she wants to give us, pepper us that she's back.
You are in
self-love. Would you love
yourself? But that's why we are having this conversation.
If I saw my mom suffer,
of course,
I saw her endure, and I did not give myself brain that is not what I want.
No, but you know the funny thing, right? Your brain might tell you that that's the norm, but that's why this whole talk is happening. That's why a lot of people are open about these things online these days, because these are places that people learn now. There's some people in these situations, we get DMs like that, people in horrible situations. You will see people that will tell you, they want to leave, but no money, no this, they want to leave, but the same excuses that they heard their parents give. They don't know that there are options out there. They don't know that you can actually start your life afresh and make it in life and be something.
But sorry, do we know much about the divorce proceedings in Nigeria? Does it? It takes time, right? Yeah.
I think it takes 2 days, 2 years.
It doesn't even matter. But no matter what, start the process. Even in Australia, right? I heard you have to be separated for 1 year first before you can even. It still takes time in a lot of other countries. But that's fine as long as you're apart for your own
I know a
sanity.
case where the woman actually had a child for a different man now. Still, her husband refused to sign it. He said that child belongs to him. As in, you know, in Igbo tradition, it's like that. Once they've paid your bride price, if you like have 10 children outside, those children belong to the man who paid your bride price. The man refused to divorce her. He said that child belongs to you. Should bring the child for it. It was the judge. It was the judge that said, based on his own discretion. Now it's not about this lawyer says. Now
Yes.
based on his own discretion, he's dissolving this marriage. That's what saved the
Man.
woman. If not,
But
Then
seriously,
that's tying to what she just said.
Mm.
Most women that actually stayed or that actually keep staying is because they know that the society, especially if
Culturally.
the husband is more influential, they know that they will not have access to their kids.
I feel like emotional
Yeah.
attachment too is same because
Yeah.
most times your friends are their friends. You go to the same schools. Anywhere you go to, you still
But-
see. And then you want to be in a position where some people, if you leave a marriage and you become like a stalker, so to speak. You spend like the first few years just monitoring him. Is he happy? Is he sad? Is he missing me? You know, that kind of thing. Because as a lady, of course, divorce is painful for both parties. But as a lady, some ladies are very emotional. They will not just want you to leave them and just be happy, smiling. It almost seems like I was the bad person. So even if the person, because you know there are some people that are narcissistic, so he was the problem, but it seems like now you have left his life. He's getting contracts. He's getting this. His family is putting it in your face, and then it begins to affect her emotions, begins to affect her self-esteem. Maybe I was the problem. They will tie her, go to deliverance. These are things that are happening, and then God forbid, God just help you. You're not fair. Oh my God. Yeah, the real water.
what I'm getting is that a lot of the problem is
Yeah.
actually from society. Trying to round this
Society,
up now,
yeah.
a lot of the problem, do you know what I feel? Right? A lot of the problem or reasons why women don't move on, it actually has nothing to do with, or it has very little to do with their feelings or whatnot. It's about perception. It's mostly about perception, how people will see them. See, the conversation is long and there are so many reasons, but we will never really know unless they open their mouth and talk. But if yes, we need to normalize moving on. You guys, moving on is okay. You should move on. Like you're supposed to move on. It's not only the man that's supposed to move on, because society will applaud the men when they move on. Like, finally you found someone to be cooking for you. Finally you found someone to be cleaning for you. But then when a woman moves on, it's like, this shower that has been on the streets, even if you move on 5 years later, they'll say you were on the streets. We need to normalize moving on for women, please. Okay, we're human beings too, like this men. But yes, I enjoyed having this conversation. You guys just continue it in the comments. Why do you think women don't move on after the loss of their partner or after a divorce? The lost one is even deep, yeah. Like, or after a divorce. Let us know if you have personal examples. We'd love to read your comments down below, and we'll catch you guys in our next episode.